All right. I want to welcome you guys to this special edition. We have a very special guest tonight. This was originally supposed to be for my team, Team Surge, but we have opened it up to other leaders and other teams. I know Tara Woodman's got a lot of her team on here as well. So I just want to kind of tell you a little bit about my story in case you don't know me. My name's Andy Brock. I'm a senior director out here in Philadelphia, City of Champions, as you see behind me. And a little bit about my story. I am a combat veteran that suffers from PTSD. And before Stream, I had lived in a prison basically within my own head for about 10 years. When I woke up from what I like to call a coma and took survey of the damage that I actually created in my life, I was on my second divorce in 4 years. I was just foreclosing on my second home. I had a car repoed, $10,000 in debt. I was working 70, 80 hours a week to avoid declaring bankruptcy, and because of that, I didn't have the time or the money to take my son on a real vacation in many years, and we lost everything. We were living on my mother's couch, and you have not hit rock bottom until you actually have to have a conversation with your 7-year-old son that you lost everything because Daddy quit. Daddy let you down and lost everything because he failed to admit he had a problem and to get help. And it's a look on his face that I'll never forget, and one that I never want to see again. And luckily, a friend introduced this business to me as a way to help me get out of the hole that I had dug myself in. Because let's be honest, I was in that position because of myself and nobody else, not my ex-wives, not the government, not my job. Right. It was because of me. And the only way that I was going to get out of that was to create an additional stream of income. Thankfully, 4 years later, because of Stream, my credit is fixed, my debt is paid. We are searching for a new home for just him and myself. I do not work overtime anymore. And for a mailman to not work overtime, that is basically sacrilege because that's all they do. They run us like dogs. And because of the time freedom and now financial freedom that I've been able to afford myself, we are now able to go on vacations that we have always talked about but never imagined that we could do. We've been to Boston, Clearwater, and Chicago to go see our Phillies play in different stadiums. That's what we like to do. We like to travel to stadiums to see our Phillies play. And we have a trip planned in Kansas City and St. Louis. And now, thanks to Stream, actually hearing my story, they made my dream come true. So now that trip to Kansas City and St. Louis is 100% paid for by Stream. So if I get nothing else out of this business, everything that I've set out to achieve has been completed, and it's only, I'm playing with house money basically from this point moving forward. But in all honesty, and this may be cliche because you hear everybody say it, it's the relationships that I have formed in this business that have truly had the most impact and have changed my life. You hear all the time about your networks. Well, the network that you create within Stream is just as important as that what you have in your business and with your friends. And because of that network and the friendship that I've been able to develop over the last year with Senior Director Jeff Steer, I was able to meet our guest Michael tonight and ask him to hop on and kind of teach us tips that he has done to help explode our commercial bases. Now, this is a man who was just recently recognized at Ignition as the top commercial customer gatherer in all of Stream for 2017. He has over 100 personal customer accounts, which is impressive in itself. So at this point, I want to introduce to you the 2017 top commercial customer gatherer, Michael Campbell.
Yay! Very nicely done. That was quite a nice build-up. Just my story. Again, it's Michael Campbell. I'm an MD with Stream. I joined Stream in 2015. I've been working in the industrial sales industry for many, many years. And I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of the chemical plants, the plants that people used to go work for, companies they used to go work for, Ford Motor Company, General Motors, Merck Pharmaceutical, what have you, have left the area. So I started to see my customer base dwindle over quite a long period of time, but it just got to the point where I had to find a better way, something that was not going to be packed up and moved away. So it was really important for when I first saw Stream, the opportunity at Jeff Steer's house. I really got the opportunity right away. I actually signed up right after seeing the video. That's how positive I was, positive that I knew I had something that was very special that was being offered to me.
Well, that's an outstanding story, and thank you for sharing it.
Yeah.
Now, we brought you on because you really found your niche in the commercial market. So I want to ask you, what is it that you see in commercial accounts that you've really been able to kind of turn yourself into an expert and be able to run with?
Well, I think it's just the opportunity that's around us all. I mean, I think the magic of Stream and the Stream business is really, it's a hometown kind of business. It's obviously a home-based business, but when you think about that, everybody's surrounded by opportunity. Of energy is everywhere, as we know, and so is mobile, but energy happens to be something I'm very good at. And I just saw commercial as being a way of people being more open to me. In other words, they're open for business, I'm open for business, and it's more of a business-to-business approach.
Okay. Now, would you say a majority of your commercial accounts, would they be warm market or cold market, combination of both?
Yeah, I started off with the warm market, and I think that's what I think we all should do, and I think that's what we do. I think when we're looking at residential bills, I think we always should go to people that we feel more comfortable with when we first get started doing something, and that really worked for me. I got my golf course involved and a couple of golf courses in town. I like to play golf. So I kind of started there, restaurants that I like to go to, and talking to some of the owners. And pretty much most people were open to the idea of maybe getting a quote on their energy.
Okay. So when you're approaching a warm market contact for a commercial quote, how do you approach that in offering what we might have to offer?
I think the key to this business is you have to talk to the owner of the business. I know it's just the energy bill. So hopefully, if you're warm market, you might know somebody that owns a little business, a little pizzeria. You might know, somebody with a smaller business that you can talk to. That is easy to talk to about their energy bills, and that's been the approach is, can I talk to the owner? Is he going to be open to this idea of saving money on energy, and kind of take it from there?
Okay, so that can kind of work for your warm market and your cold market as well.
Yeah, cold market probably came along. Now, I have to admit that I am a professional salesman, so that gives me slight advantage. Not that I was a cold call salesperson, but I don't have any problem walking into a business and saying, hey, is the owner in today? And they would say, yeah, he's over there. And I could say, hey, I work for a company called Stream that can help you save on your energy costs, on your energy bill. And then kind of take it from there.
Okay. So when you're talking to somebody, what would kind of be some of the triggers that do you just walk in and say, hey, can I talk to the owner? Or is it something that you see or a vibe that you get that you might be able to offer something that we have for them?
Well, I think, and you'll hear this. I don't want to get into any motivational type of talk this evening, but I think that Jim Rohn and some of the greats talk about some of this stuff. Now, we use stories in our business, and they're very powerful to have stories. But the best way to do this type of cold calling or going in and just talking to somebody about their energy bill, is to not have a story. And when I say that, it's try to come from nothing. So when you're walking in there, you're not trying to imagine what the conversation is going to be about. I don't want to go in and say, hey, it's raining today, so I'm not going to, maybe he won't talk to me because it's raining. I mean, in our minds, when we kind of are either afraid to do something or we don't want to do something, we're kind of thinking of a way not to do it. And so what I think the most powerful thing that's really helped me to gather a lot of these customers and be successful in the commercial space, in this energy space, is just being able to walk in the door and come from nowhere, come from nothing. No preconceived notions about it, because we can't guess what people are thinking. It's impossible. So why not just go in there offer them the opportunity to save money, and see where it goes.
Okay, so we're talking to the owner. He's expressed an interest to get a quote. So why don't you walk us through your process of helping them get the free quote getting their bill, helping them
Yes.
get the free quote, and then actually getting them on as a commercial customer.
Yeah, yeah, and there is obviously there's a process to everything, and it's just basically a process. And the process is obviously our first goal is to get the bill. Now, when you talk to the owner, you may hear things like, "Oh, I did that before, and I got ripped off," and unfortunately, there's been some bad actors in our industry that have done some just bad business practices, various different reasons. So some of those people, you just unfortunately they're not going to do it again, or what have you, and you're going to have to move on. But primarily, if a customer is interested, I hear there is a magic words. I actually wrote this down. If you hear a customer after you ask them for their bill, and they say, "How does it work?" If they asked you that, those are the magic words of you. Now you're probably going to get a bill, okay, very soon, and you're also probably going to. There's a good chance you're going to sign him up because his mind has just opened up. He's asking you a question. Now you better be prepared to tell him how it works. Now, because he's asking you a valid question, and you have to answer it. And now you don't have to be an expert in energy. Most people pay their energy bill. They just pay the bill. They know nothing about the bill. They don't know there's a delivery charge. They don't know there's a supply charge. So what is very vital to have with you at all times is a copy of a bill. Okay. And if the bill happens to be from a customer who is local to this person, it's more powerful. Well, I know it. I know that guy. I know his business. Oh, he's your customer? Yeah. I helped him save $20,000. And by the way, when I throw around these terms, 20,000, 10,000, these are real numbers. Okay. So I'll throw that around a little bit in a first meeting with a customer. Say, hey, I saved this guy 20,000. I saved this guy 10,000, or this gal. So those are real savings, real numbers. So having a copy of the bill, walking him through the bill, and telling him how the process works, how we save him money, you're educating the customer. And let's face it, we really don't have any competitors doing this. Now there are a few. Direct Energy goes out and does a pretty good job on the commercial side. There's everything else is hit and miss, and most everybody is calling these people on the phone. And I'll hear feedback, blowback. You're not those people that keep calling. And I said, no, we don't call anybody. I said, we work within our local network. That's close to we're associates, we're individual associates. We work in our areas, and we basically keep it local. And I'll tell you, they really appreciate that. I get really good feedback on that. We never want to be associated with the people who call on the phone.
Right.
Okay, so basically you've now gained his confidence. You've got a copy of his bill, and then you have to send the bill into Stream for quoting. I'm assuming the group knows that. They know that it's different than residential. You go on your website, you enter the bill. On the commercial side, the copy of the bill has to be sent to the commercial team.
Yes.
Well, okay, everybody knows that part. You will get people who will say, yes, I would love to give you a copy of the bill. I just don't have it. You'll hear, it's similar to residential where people honestly don't have it, or some people will, it's on the computer, there's no paper bill, they forgot the password, they got to get the password. So it can be a little cumbersome. But once the person commits and says, the owner, now again, I'm talking to the owner of the company at varying sizes. So when that customer says, okay, I'm going to give you a copy of the bill, now it's on me to follow up. And I may have to go back several times until I get that bill. Follow-up is key in a lot of businesses. It's very crucial in this business. And by the way, this is a face-to-face business. I don't use phone. I use a little bit of texting. There's no quotes being emailed. This is face-to-face. We're local individuals going to local companies. I think once you get entangled with the other competitors, they're just sending letters out about saving money. They're on the phone constantly trying to get your business. You just don't want to be associated with that. It's best to just keep everything face to face. Okay? So once you get the bill, it's quoted. Now you have a quote. Now, what I like to do is I like to print these quotes. And again, I'm taking this quote back to the owner of the business. Okay? I'm not putting it in the mail. I'm not faxing it. I'm not emailing it. And I'm not calling them up on the phone. So to me, that's critical. And usually you'll get either the customer say, okay, it looks good. They're going to sign up, and they sign. Now, occasionally you might get a situation where the customer, I got to look at it. I got to think about it. And again, you're going to follow up. It's professional, right? This person has the right to say yes, no, or maybe. That's the only three things I need to hear. So it's either yes, I'm going to be a customer, or no, or not right now. So, and again, and if the customer does not sign up with me, they're not running to another supplier. They just didn't get it, or they just didn't feel comfortable with it, or varying reasons. But primarily, we don't lose customers to other competitors. We really have very few competitors in this space. There's nobody really talking to these people directly. They're sending out letters, they're calling them up on the phone. And so we have something very special to offer, I think. It's a real hands-on thing. And another reason why I like the commercial space is there's no set pricing. Now, if we all look at different markets within Stream, whether we're looking at the Pennsylvania market or here at PSE&G market, residential is very set. Commercial is unset. The pricing is all over the place, and I haven't really gotten a straight answer of how they come up with these prices. But you can go from store to store, pizzeria, convenience store. Everybody is paying a different price. Some guys get a good price. Some get a terrible price. So I always tell my customers, I have no idea what this quote's going to look like when I get done with it. But you're going to save some money, and it could be a lot of money. I just did a pizzeria with a couple locations. We saved him $20,000. He was paying 23 cents a kilowatt. Our price was $11.9.
Wow. And that was 5 different locations, right?
Yeah. So, it was a 9 contract deal. So and I don't like to, going after big deals like that is very, very time consuming. The bigger the deal, the longer it takes. I like our sweet spot is the pizzeria, the convenience store. Anywhere where you get in, you talk to the owner. It's one bill. It's not very involved. And again, getting a bill that is untouched is always nice because there's no other competitor to worry about. It's basically that it's been with a particular supplier and it hasn't been touched by another vendor. They're nice. Or one that's been I've caught bills that have been off contract for years. Nobody knew. They just paid the bill.
Right.
See high, paid the bill. And sometimes I go, guys, geez, how long have you been paying this bill? This is ridiculous, So you become a consultant in a way, and you're there to help them save money for you to get a customer. And that's kind of the whole process. I think that I told this to the team over at Stream when I was there with the dinner. We had the whole team there. I said, look, I just don't. I see if Stream continues, and I've cycled customers out. I've got customers who have now signed up on another contract. We haven't lost them. If this continues, Stream could own a big chunk of the commercial business because if we hold our pricing, we keep our contracts clean. It's simple. There's no reason why we can't really grow this business.
Sound again.
All right, so let me ask you this, because I know that this is a big question, and I haven't exactly gotten what's going on here? We got some feedback here. Let me ask you this: how long is a commercial quote usually good for once you get it?
It could be anywhere from 24 months to I've done 3-month contracts.
Well, what I mean is before they actually sign the contract, the rate, the quote that you got, how long is it good for before they sign it that they could still get that rate?
That depends. I mean, most of them have been pretty flexible. We haven't had a problem with, obviously we want them to sign the contract right away. I have re-quoted certain projects for certain customers, but primarily, you know, if you can get the thing signed up in a couple of weeks, you're going to be okay. You know? It should be 24 to 48 hours, whether, you know, they'll put that note in the contract. I mean, if the pricing is extremely aggressive, and, you know, you have to, you know, you got to let your customer know that, wow, we're giving you a super number here. We really want your business, but it's not going to last.
Okay.
You got to move on this.
So really the last question I have before I open it up to any other questions is, after you get your contacts to sign the contract and become your commercial customer, now I know that various contracts are different, and most of them are usually about 24 months, but do you follow up with them every so often to see if they're happy, or just to check in to let them know that, hey, I'm your energy guy, I'm just checking in, make sure you're happy?
Yeah, I will do that. There's certain, for the most part, I will do that. It can be good. Sometimes you want to let a dead dog lie, you know, so to speak. You know, to them, some of them, it's like, okay, we did it. I'm confident they'll check a few bills. If our pricing is not, which we said it would be, you'll hear from them. But yeah, I try to, a 24-month contract, I try to at least go in there once a year in the balance of the year and be available for any questions they may have. I do try to upsell also. Obviously, a lot of these customers do have mobile accounts and
Residential.
Yeah, residential. Haven't been too successful taking commercial people to residential. Don't know why. Could be me. Could be some people like to keep business, and they don't really get crazy about sharing where they live, personal information. It's different. It's a really different business.
That's good information.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you for hopping on this call and giving us some good information. I hope everybody was able to take some notes.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't mind, if you have a couple minutes to spend on some questions that the galley might have here. So guys, if you have any questions that you want to ask Michael specifically, again, if you hopped on late, he is the 2017 top commercial customer gatherer for the entire business with over 100 commercial accounts. So if anybody's an expert and can help you answer these questions, he is the guy. So if you guys want to unmute yourselves, I'll keep pretty much everybody muted to avoid the background noise. But if you want to unmute yourselves to ask a question, by all means, feel free to do that now.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
This is Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
Hey, I was just curious, how lucrative is it to get commercial accounts? And I know it's different depending on, you know, the size of the account, but, you know, if you have 100 pizza shops, can that be pretty lucrative, or?
Yeah, it can. Again, we're coming off, you know, last year was a pretty special year for commercials because we had the extra energy bonus. I don't know if you're aware of that. So we had, for every 15 points, you get $1,000. So that was a big part of the incentive to go out and get commercial accounts. I don't know if that's coming back. I don't know if that is something they're gonna. I've been told they're looking at some different type of program for that, for some sort of extra energy bonus.
For commercial specifically?
For commercial specifically, yeah. So, okay. So right now the payout is generally on a 4-point meter. The payout is $20 per meter per month. So,
oh, nice.
And then a 3-point meter is 15, and a 2-point meter is 10, and then a 1-point meter is 50 cents. So yeah, it's definitely worth it. I think it's a great way too for people on your team to, if they can get a couple of commercial accounts to get to their 15 points, if they're having struggling, you know, getting points for to meet their quick start bonus, could be very, very helpful if they get a couple of commercial accounts. would be great as well. So yeah, I'd like to see something in the near future on commercial as far as to incentivize like we did last year for the extra energy bonus.
Yeah, that would
Sure.
be nice. That would be nice, especially considering, and for those of you that don't know this, commercial accounts do not count towards your customer plus those
Right.
points because they pay separately. So if there was some kind of incentive put forth for gathering commercial customers like the energy bonus, the extra energy, that would be really nice.
Yeah. So that's, we'll see where that goes. I've heard all different types of scenarios where it could be just commercial and residential points will be treated as points, which I would love. That would be nice. My monthly income would increase quite a bit on that in that type of scenario.
All right. Does anybody else have any questions? Again, I'm keeping all the lines muted to avoid background noise, so just unmute yourself and feel free to
I
ask
do.
Michael. Hi, who are we talking to?
My name is Carmen.
Hey, Carmen.
I had a quick question. I am trying to approach someone who does own a pizzeria, so it's great that you said something. Is it more beneficial when you go in to speak with the owner to, have any, I guess, paraphernalia on you, like business cards, plus stuff like that, to make it seem more professional? Or have you ever had to worry about, I don't know, like making sure you have business cards before you go and talk to any commercial accounts? Or is it just based on the rapport that you have with them, like they know you well enough, you don't need the business card?
Yeah, I don't know when you jumped on, but we talked about warm market versus cold market. So this pizzeria person may know you or may not know you. I don't know. But I think it's important that if typically someone's just not going to hand you their bill, okay? There is some personal information on there about their business, et cetera, et cetera. And so they're going to have to be somewhat convinced that you know about business a little bit. I talked a little bit about actually having a copy of a bill that has been converted to Stream, because the customer may not know that. You're going to hear people have all kinds of ideas of how our business works. They might think we do the billing. They might think, they just don't have a clue how it works. They don't realize that actually in our market, the bill doesn't change except for one line says Stream. So just to sum that up, it's best that you, I think, would at least have a copy of the bill. It could even be your home bill. It could be a bit, as long as it says Stream and it shows Stream on your bill, indicates, and you can explain how the bill works. And I think that will go a long way.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem.
Anybody else?
Yeah, how you doing, guys?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm Rico. I just got in. Jeff invited me. How you guys doing?
Hi,
How
Rico.
are you?
I'm kind of new. I've been in about a month. Got a few customers and a few associates. So I'm just like Carmen said, I'm working on an owner of a pizzeria as well. And I'm trying to figure out the best, because I planted a seed with him. He actually wanted me to work with him. He wanted me to deliver for him.
Okay. That's a good start.
Yeah. So it was hard to turn down the cash offer because, he delivers, he allows drivers to deliver pizza, to his customers. So I planted a seed. So I want to hound the guy. What's the best approach or script to give him, to create a bit of a sense of urgency?
Yeah, I don't know. Have you actually asked for his bill? I mean, if you say, hey, I can help you if I can give you a free quote. I think it really is, the script basically is hey, I work for a company called Stream. We help people save money on their energy. Now, in the case of commercial, what's kind of nice is we actually do a really nice quote. It's just not a quote that we pull out of the air. I mean, when you send the bill in, your commercial representative is actually going to pull the historical use of those meters. Mm-hmm. And so over a year's time, we're going to be able to look back in time and tell how much energy he uses on those meters. Sometimes it's good the customers know that too, because they don't realize we actually have a relationship with their utility. You know, we're we're licensed in these states to provide this energy. We're not just, you know, falling off the truck and walking into this place looking for orders. You know, so it's a good quote. It's going to show how much we're going to apply our lower cost energy rates, and it's going to show exactly within reason of how much money you could potentially save over the next year, 2 years, depending on the length of the contract. So it's a free quote. You're going to provide a free quote, and it's going to be fairly accurate. You know, so that should take a little bit of the stress off. But the only thing I'm a little concerned about in what you're saying is really my approach to doing this commercial energy business is really going out and talk to a lot of people. In other words, I'm not trying to work on someone. Maybe when you're recruiting somebody, it's different. When you're recruiting somebody for Stream, you want to kind of tell them about the business, and you want to hear their story, you want to share. This is more of a business-to-business kind of transaction where you're going to save them money, is he interested or not, you know? And then because there's so many businesses out there. I mean, I've actually stopped my car and said, you know, I got some. Instead of having lunch today, I'm going to go walk around and talk to 10 people. So I pull my car over, and you start walking around Main Street. You go, where do I start? I mean, everybody's a customer.
Yeah. Who
do I talk to first? And that's actually sometimes hard, you know. And maybe it's the coffee shop. Maybe it's you know. The only thing that I try to do is when I get involved with a customer, I'd like them to be a gas and an electric customer. And there's certain towns that we don't have gas, or there are certain areas that the natural gas is not available. I would probably take a pass on those because I want to get the gas and the electric meter together. And potentially gas is easier to hit the 4-point payout than electric is. It takes a typical pizzeria will be 4 points for gas, most likely. And that payout is $20 a month.
Wow.
So I like to have the gas meters included with electric. And you'll see there'll be certain towns that don't have natural gas. There's not natural gas in every town like there is electricity.
Okay. Yeah, I'm working on that guy. I think I almost got him, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, it all starts with getting the
bill. He'll sign right up.
Yeah. I appreciate that.
All right, guys, I'm going to close this out now. I just want to take a minute to thank Michael for hopping on with us and sharing some tips that will hopefully help us explode our commercial contacts that we might have in our respective areas. Michael, if you have any last thoughts that you want to share with us moving forward?
No, just good luck. I just think that I might have said it a few times in my presentation. We don't have a lot of competitors in commercial. A lot of people are calling on the phone, begging for bills over the phone, very unprofessionally. The fact that you're walking in the door, do the business face to face. You'll be surprised how you can grow your business. And we open our mouths, we ask for the bill, get the bill, quote, and you should be very successful.
All right. Outstanding, Michael. Just so you guys all know, this has been recorded. For those of you that are on Tara's team, I will be forwarding this to her to post on her team page. If you didn't get a chance to take notes and want to take some notes on the replay, other than that, I want to thank you guys for all hopping on, and let's go out and crush this.
And thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
I'm going to unmute the lines now.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Take care.
Appreciate it.
Have a great night.
Thank you. Night.